Hey, this is George with the Homebrewer and Home Brewing Co. in San Diego. Today I'm going to talk really quickly about adding oak to beer or wine or cider or mead or whatever you want. The basics are that it really depends on what you're trying to achieve. And we have a few different types of products we can use. These are oak chips. These again are just some darker toasted oak chips, some oak cubes, there's a honeycomb, and there's a product called beer sticks. Now, generally speaking, American oak versus French oak versus Hungarian oak. American oak is going to be a little bit more intense in its flavor profile, and so we would expect a little bit more vanilla and cinnamon and or kind of cocoa sort of aspects from that. The darker the char, the more of that kind of burnt wood kind of aspect we would get, but we're not thinking of like burnt toast, we're talking about more of those kind of coconut and vanilla sort of characteristics. And then the big question is, when do you add it? So that really just depends on what you're trying to do. You can add before fermentation, you can add after fermentation, and then the amount you use, again, just depends on what you're trying to accomplish. Generally speaking, about half an ounce to 1 ounce per gallon is a good place to start if you're using the chips or the cubes. And generally speaking, about 1 inch of the honeycomb or the beer sticks per gallon is a good place to start. And the longer you soak it, the more kind of intermingled that flavor will be. And so some people really like a heavy oak characteristic, so they might use a larger amount for either a shorter or longer period of time. Starting about 7 days is a good place to kind of start it out at. And then some people want really subtle oak, so they'll use a smaller amount of oak for maybe a longer period of time to get more integrated type of flavor. Now, as far as preparation, we don't typically want to just add oak to our finished product because it can contain a lot of bacteria and yeast that we don't want to add to our liquid. So one common method is to soak your oak chips in some sort of alcohol, whether that's just plain vodka, or if there's a whiskey profile or a rum profile that you really enjoy and you would like to incorporate that into the product, you can do that as well. Soaking that for anywhere from, some people like 24 hours, some people say you need at least a week. You're really just going to have to experiment on your own. But soaking those and then adding either just the chips or a little bit of the liquid, again, up to you. And another approach would be to boil the wood and then either discard that liquid, which will carry with it a lot of the kind of harsher tannins and maybe some of those flavors, or to save some of that liquid to kind of add later. We always suggest that you start slow and low and kind of add more as you go. So it really just comes down to starting a place or picking a point at which you'll start and then adding as you go. So give yourself some time, be patient, take good notes, and that's really the best way to do it. So if you'd like more advice on this or anything else, you can reach out to us here or subscribe, like, do all those things, and we'll keep the content coming. Thanks, have a great day.